good evening wherever you are. Welcome to this live learning on effectively using Confluence templates. I did notice something about the YouTube chat. It now has like a top fans rating. I have no idea how this works, so maybe we can figure that out in this live stream. Jenny, you are already the #1 fan, and Noreen, you are my #2 fan. So thank you both for joining and being my #1 and #2 fans, whatever that means. And welcome from Bismarck and the Philippines. I am based in Berkeley, California, where it is currently a bit dark because it is still early in the morning. We'll give folks a couple minutes to drop in. While we're doing that, please take some time to consider what questions you have about templates in Confluence, or just what questions you kind of have about Confluence in general. I'll be happy to address certainly the template ones and record the rest. I'm going to say Ivan, welcome. Hope I said that properly. I see the accent. Apologies, I speak American English, which doesn't have accents, so I apologize. But glad you could join us, my friend. All right, I am all set up, and I'm assuming y'all can hear me. If you give me a thumbs up or just let me know somehow in the chat if you can. I know you can see me if you can hear me. Oh, we now have a #3 fan. This is going to distract me way too much, team. You're going to get a little crown, and someone's going to chat or something, and then you're going to lose your crown. Welcome, Frank. Welcome, Christopher from Nashville. I assume there's only one Nashville in Tennessee. I never thought about that. I grew up in a small town where there were multiple versions of it, so. Barbara, good to see you again. As we go, I'm going to be doing some things like adding a QA into the chat just to help us manage and collect information. Thank you, Jenny. Welcome, Kincaid from Nova Scotia. Kath, good to see you. So I will be using some YouTube features, and you'll see these pop up. I'll talk about them as I go, but I've been taking a lot of feedback in from the group, and I really appreciate all the feedback everyone's been giving me on how to improve these trainings. One of them is I will be saving questions to certain points throughout this if I can. So if you have a question, please drop it in chat or drop it in the Q&A feature. You'll see that pop up. Maybe I'll put just a quick example of that. I'll be using polls, which look like this. Polls I will be dropping into chat. Just to give me an idea of some questions. There can be, I think, up to 4 answers. So you'll see these pop in just to help engage folks and kind of get some information going and get folks, having this feel more like it's an in-person thing than just virtual. So that'll be one thing you'll see pop up. I'll leave those up for a bit just to get a feeling from the audience. And the other thing you will all see is Q&A. That's what YouTube calls this. It's a prompt that I can send you. I will see all the answers to it, or all your answers to it, and then I can pull them up and answer them as we go. So I'll be using that Q&A feature to collect questions from the group over time. I'll pop up different ones as we go, probably not too many, just so I can keep track of them all. But those are 2 improvements I'm using, and I expect feedback on how well those go. So as you see those pop up, please use them to help engage. But now we're going to get started. By way of quick introduction, of the 15 people who voted, about half of you haven't been in a session with me before, which is amazing. It's great to have recurring fans come in, but I love that more folks are joining. My name is Rob, and I've had a career in information technology, mainly on the HR human resources side. So I tend to be the person who helps HR teams figure out how to use their systems and their technology stack. And I've been using Atlassian products like Confluence since about 2013. So about 12 years. You'll hear me share more about this as we go, but I never had any training with Confluence. I started my job and someone just said, oh yeah, Confluence is where you do this. And so I would go into Confluence and I had to learn by doing. And that worked for me. It doesn't work for many people, and that's exactly why I do these sessions, to share what I know and to help other people share what they know so other people don't have to learn by doing. And I'll talk about more ways you can learn with me. One of them is in Discord. This is a live chat platform, about 150 folks in there sharing information about Atlassian products, how to use them, how they're successful. So please feel free to join us in there. And a quick, I guess, fun fact, I really like the meeting notes template, which I'll talk about as we go. I mentioned earlier, YouTube is great. You all get to see and hear me. I cannot see and hear you. So please use the chat. Please use the polls. Please answer the questions. And this will just help you get more out of the session. It will also give me information around how can I get you better information, how can I tailor these, and kind of guide the discussion. So as you see those questions pop up, if you're comfortable, drop in an answer. Again, for the Q&A, I see all the answers and I can share ones. And then I do my best to answer everything in either a blog post or follow-up videos after this if I can't get to them. Now, also, please like and subscribe. I have to do the stereotypical YouTube thing, but that's the easiest way to support this channel. I'm shifting my career right now to do more stuff like this, so any support you can provide is incredibly helpful. So please hit that like button if you're finding this useful, and I'll bring this up a couple of times, and I'll talk about more ways you can support what I'm doing kind of as we go. I will also encourage you, though, to share this recording with other people you think might find it useful. I can guarantee you there are people in your organization or that you work with who have the same questions you do or different questions, and this can help them. So please, if you find it useful, share it with someone else. Let them know about it. The more perspective and information you can get, the easier it will be to use things. So a quick agenda. And this is not an agenda. This is the Who Am I slide. My screen is stuck. That is a little bit frustrating. Whee! There we go. Fixed it. A very quick agenda. I will hopefully get to everything I want to about templates. We only have an hour, which seems like a lot of time. I'm finding it's not. So my session next week is 90 minutes. I might make these longer and change the times, which actually gives me an idea for a poll I'll drop in. So we're going to talk about just what templates are kind of in general, why they're useful, where they live, and then how we can manage them. And these are all important concepts. And then we'll do all of this live when we get, Sashin, thank you. And then we will go hands-on into Confluence Cloud Premium. Everything I show you will work in every version of Confluence Cloud and should work in Data Center. I'll do my best to call out things I know that are different. But even if you're on standard or free, what I'm going to show you here should still make sense. And my first question is, how comfortable are you with templates? I'm going to drop in a poll, and it's just going to be a 1 to 5 scale, or 1 to 4 with templates. I'm annoyed that I can't. So a 1 is you're not comfortable or confident. A 4 is you're super comfortable or confident, just to get an idea of the comfort level. Again, when I started using Confluence, I did not know templates existed. And this was a problem because it means I didn't have access to this tool. I would find myself, and I bet many other people in this call have done that, where you have a page that you like and you just open it and you Command A and Control A and then Control Paste because that's a template. And that can work. Now, there's some challenges with that we'll talk about as we go. But templates are a very powerful tool, and it looks like about 20% of y'all are comfortable. Over half, not too much. Already have some good feedback. Sarah thinks we need... what is Doug music, my friend? We need Doug music. Not 100% sure what that is. I'll see if I can find some kind of music, though. Some kind of backing track. Sarah, good morning. All right. Yeah, half of us not too comfortable. That's totally okay. And I appreciate the folks who raised their hand and said, hey, I'm not too comfortable. It can be very easy to, I'll say, not raise our hand and say we're uncomfortable with something. But the more we can raise our hand and say, I don't know that thing, the sooner and quicker we can get an answer to it. All right. So, wow, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Templates are just pre-built page structures. So when I think of creating a new page, sometimes I get writer's block. I open the page up and I stare at a blank page and I kind of panic. I don't really know what I should do. And it's hard to start building because I know that there's a lot of features. Oh, Sarah, I know exactly what you're talking. Sorry. Sarah is referring to a cartoon that was played in America back when I was growing up called Doug, which was highly entertaining. Sorry for that sidetrack. Now, templates give us a pre built structure, so they're a way of making it easier to make content. One important thing to remember is they are unique to the space they are created in. And spaces are those, it's an organizational unit in Confluence. Typically, a space might be a department, engineering, sales, etc. Or it could be like a project. So every template in Confluence lives in one space. There's an exception I'll talk about in a moment. And I'm curious if folks know what that exception exception is. If you can drop it in the chat, if you know what template goes to all spaces. Angie, it is easier to edit something, and I'll jump to editing in a minute. But you can edit and create templates. And that is something I did not know for a while. I thought you just had these 140 or so templates that came with Confluence that worked. Tushar, you've nailed it, my friend. We will talk about global templates in a moment. That was another thing that I did not know existed. So again, templates are our pre-built structures. They live in a space, and they can be edited and changed. Now, they're useful for many reasons, and you'll hear me just keep coming back to these. And I keep coming back to these just because I remind myself why they're useful, but also to remind everyone else. The first is standardization. When we think of a page, if I'm a consumer, if I'm an employee in your organization, and I go to a page that's a how-to article, I can expect it to be in a certain structure. I know I can skip to the bottom and get a video of how to do it. Or if it's a policy, I can skip to the middle, and that will show me who to talk to if I have questions, those kind of things. So it helps the customers. It also helps the creators. If I'm making a how-to article, I don't have to worry about where should that video link go. It just shows up right at the bottom. And this makes it easier for new people for Confluence to get involved, or people who are less confident in their skills. And this is a huge adoption advantage. Many times when you roll out Confluence, it's like 1% of people want to engage with it. All of you want to be involved and learn more. The other 99% of people just see it as something they have to use in their job. So anything we can do to make it easier, more approachable, simpler is a huge win. We can go to our team and say, hey, Chad, you can now just use this template. Chad, welcome, my friend. Chad has that nice little star after his name. He is one of my coffee sponsors. You'll see me drinking a lot of coffee on these trainings. And that's one way to support the channel is to become a member. So please consider that if you're looking for ways to support me. You get a nice star after your name and you show up different in chat. Now, macros, templates also give us some unique features. And there are macros within the template that help us build it and help guide creation that don't exist anywhere else. So there's some additional tools we have when we build our templates to make it easier for our team to use them and easy for us as admins to figure them out. And I didn't mean to say instances, I meant to say spaces there. Templates can be easily shared within your instance. So if I make a really cool template in the engineering space, it's fairly easy if you know how to share it with other groups. So again, kind of sharing our knowledge and making sure our overall team can benefit from these things, and it's not just one group that's getting all the benefits. Now, I've said the word template a lot, and just to clarify, there are other kinds of templates that aren't just page templates. This particular training will mainly focus on page templates because that is what most people think of when they consider templates and what most people happen to be using Confluence for, making pages. But keep in mind that whiteboard spaces databases also have some kind of template feature. Again, the main focus here is going to be on page templates because that's what most people use. And these other types of templates are a lot less robust. They aren't as developed, maybe, or they don't have as many features, but you will see them in other places. So just be aware that other features in Confluence also have a way to templatize content. That can make it easier for your team to use them. Another kind of open-ended question, and I'll let folks respond in the chat for this one. How often do you use templates, and which template is your favorite? I've mentioned I use them basically daily. And my favorite is the meeting notes template. Sarah, welcome to being a coffee sponsor. I really appreciate that. Through my sponsors, my members' sponsorship, I've been able to afford some. It's called Phil's Coffee that we have here in the Bay Area. It's much different than what I usually get at Costco, which is the bulk goods store. So I appreciate it. So I've found that over time, I tend to gravitate towards using 2 or 3 different templates, and I honestly don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It does mean I'm in the same situation quite a bit with meeting notes, where I jump into a meeting, I make a page, and I put that template in there so I can easily get to it. That said, there's no restriction on how you use a template. There's nothing to say you must use the ones that come with Confluence. So, Chad, I'll check that out. So next we have, where do templates even live? There are 3 spots you can easily find templates as we go. Frank created a sprint review template. I love that. And what I love about that, Frank, is you created one. You identified a need, and I'll talk about how I approach this, and then you put it in Confluence for your team. Again, the purpose of these systems like Confluence is to make our lives easier, and if we can share that with our team, we make everyone's lives easier. But templates show up in the template menu, and that's in our sidebar. This is the new UI, so I had to swap out the screenshot. And you'll notice I've hidden this templates menu, and I'll show you what this looks like in the system. But you can get to templates from here. It'll either be under more or in this list. There is, I don't know what this pop-up thing is called. This showed up a few months ago, but this includes, I think, the top 3 most used templates that you have, and then some other macros and things, as well as this all templates button. So whatever this bar is called, and I'm curious if anyone knows what this bar is called, because I have no idea. On the right, there is the template sidebar, and this is what I am used to using. Malar, I just thought you were really excited about the new UI. Personally, I like it. As we get into Confluence, I'll talk a little bit more about it. But on the right here, we have the all templates sidebar, and this is what I mainly use. And I'm just used to this. This used to pop up automatically when you opened a new page. Again, that stopped because that new thing at the bottom is now popping up, like this part. What should we call, does anyone know the official name of that thing? The quick launch bar. Chad to the rescue. Sure, I guess that's a quick launch bar. I was going to say we should make up a name for it, but quick launch bar sounds fine. The QLB, because I like my acronyms. That's going to be a thing now. Now, I prefer this sidebar for a couple reasons. And this is just a screenshot of that sidebar. And I lost my screen share again. There we go. I like this because it has a little bit more options than that quick launch bar. Up at the top, it defaults to the space that I'm in. Now, I've mentioned that templates live in a specific space, and this is where you can look through different spaces. And this is something I didn't know for a while. The Quilby. Tushar, I like that. Sachin, I see your question, and it looks like Sarah's jumping in. I will stay out of it then. This is where if you know there's a template in another space, but I'll pick on engineering a lot. Let's say engineering has a really cool template. I can just change this selector to engineering and access it, which is pretty cool. And I'll show you this live. There is another way, I think Tushar mentioned global templates to make that work, or to find templates everywhere. But if there's a template in another space, you can easily access it. This is a great trick to show folks on your team, because this is really frustrating. I saw this really neat template, don't know where it went. You can look for it. Next is this search bar, and this is why I like this sidebar. You can just type in a keyword, and if it's on the template in the description, it'll start filtering down what's being displayed in this browsing section. And you can also filter by these categories. So you as an individual can star your own templates, but your admin can also promote them. So your admin might tick off a couple, and we'll do this live, but saying, hey, these are super important ones. There's another like 27 different filters by type, so project management or marketing or a whole bunch of others that make it easy to go find those. Now, there is one other way you can find a template. Pages created by a template should have a little link that says owned by the person's name, created with a template. And then if you click those dots, you should see the template that it was made by. Now, shout out to Liz, who's a friend of the channel, and they're over on Discord. I'll drop a quick link if you want to join us in there. But Liz sent this screenshot because for some reason in my demo box, I don't see this link anymore. So I don't know if Atlassian's changing something, if there's some kind of bug. But if you see a page and you're like, hey, was this made by a template? Look up at the top and look for the owner. And if it says created with a template, that was made from a template. This is useful for uncovering and discovering different ways templates are used. So I use this quite a bit when I see other people using templates. I'm always curious, like, ooh, what did they do? How did they work on it? Now here's a quick poll. I'm going to maybe put this in and a blueprint. I have a couple of fun answers here. And I had to kind of cut off the last letter of the last question because I can only fit 35 characters. Oh, Justin, a dig at Atlassian. I don't know why my screen share keeps getting stuck, team. Let me go fix this real quick. There we go. So the general question is, what is the difference between a blueprint and a template? And I put some QA questions. Please also feel free to use the chat. I am starting to like the QA feature in YouTube. I was going to say in Confluence, just because more folks seem fun, able to click on them. Okay, about half of us think blueprints are provided by Atlassian. That should be Atlassian. 30% templates are editable. Blueprints aren't. Templates are only for pages. All right. Now, I did not know what a blueprint was until I made this live learning session for the first time. And this is something that most people who use Confluence will not care about, and it does not really matter. But for people who are interested in helping their team use templates more effectively and managing templates, this idea of a blueprint is important. The biggest difference, blueprints are provided by Atlassian or by marketplace partners, and templates are created by admins. Now, every blueprint shows up as a template, so you can think of a blueprint as like a special kind of template. But blueprints are the things that when you open Confluence for the first time, you have 150 of them for some magical reason. And we'll talk more about them as we go. So as a space admin, you will see a templates menu under look and feel. And I'll encourage you right now, if you have Confluence and you're a space admin, open it up in a different tab and go to this templates menu. It's under space settings and under look and feel. And this is where we as admins can create, edit, and manage the templates in our space. So again, templates live in a space. Space admins can change those templates in different ways. Now, again, this is very important. Some folks in the chat have already mentioned creating their own templates, but we can also modify existing ones. We can go in and tweak the blueprints we're provided, or over time, we can review our own templates and make changes to them. Now, this is the blueprints versus templates. I probably should have had this slide first. Both can be edited, promoted, and disabled. So when I look at my list of blueprints, and you'll see in this screenshot, they even call them blueprint templates, which is annoying. We can turn them on and off with the rocker. We can promote them, and we can edit them if we need to. The difference between them, again, is blueprints are provided by Atlassian or by marketplace partners. So you might get some extra templates from an add-on your organization has downloaded. And then the templates are things that we create and manage ourselves. This is useful if you're going on to Atlassian community or if you're Googling something. But again, most people, most of the time, it doesn't matter. Earlier on, we mentioned global templates. I did not know these existed, and I didn't know they existed because I've never been an organization admin, an org admin. This is the person who has administrative control over your Confluence instance. That person or someone with that access can make templates global in your instance. For example, if every team in your organization would benefit from a sprint review template, they could add a global template for sprint review and it would show up in every single space. This is really, really good for standardization because it means anyone, regardless of where they are in Confluence, will get that in their space and they don't have to look for it. It does, however, require that admin access, so you might have to work with your information technology or IT team if you need to. Chad, so many options to upgrade templates, one of your favorite things to do. I guess, Chad, could you share like your best tips and tricks? I'm curious if you could share with the group what you found most useful or the things you've discovered. And that kind of rolls us into this next question. Some food for thought, if you could share in the chat, that's always helpful for everyone, folks. But what is your approach to creating or editing templates? And I'm asking this because with any system, we'll have these great features and buttons and widgets we can do, but it's not just about pushing the buttons, right? There's also some kind of thought process that has to go into it, or there is some kind of way we control it or make it better or put structure around it. So I'm curious for everyone here, like when you're considering a template, how do you handle that? How do you manage your templates so they're as useful as possible for the group? Chad likes the expand macro. That's one of my favorites too. And this next thing we'll talk about is less about the feature in Confluence called templates and less about pushing the buttons and more about what we have to do to be successful with them. And this can apply to almost anything in systems. So the first is talk to your team. Did I spell commonly wrong? I think I spelled com only. Wow. It'll teach me for writing these things at night. The first is do some research. Talk to your team and figure out what their challenges are making content. Ask yourself, what page am I constantly creating from scratch or copying and pasting manually? But this will give you ideas on things that you could templatize. And you could start just by talking to one or two people. You could you could start making templates for small groups, and that can have a huge impact. The next is go mock it up. Go make a template and then take it back to the team and say, hey, does this help solve the problem? Does this make it easier for you to do your job? And this will give you, again, more feedback and more ways to figure out what's going on. And once you've done that, you can then go deploy it. You can push it out into the world and folks can start using it in the system. So before we start jumping in and just building templates, it's always important to remember to step back and try to figure out what are good use cases for templates, what are things that could be beneficial for the team before we start building. And I think this is my last slide before I have two more slides. My second to last slide. There are special macros that we're going to see when we go in and edit. I briefly mentioned these, but we have variables, and this will prompt someone for input when they use the template. And this can be pretty cool because let's say you need to use the name of a project in multiple spots on a page. You can put a variable in all those places, and when someone fills it out in any one spot, it will fill it out in all the spots. There's different types of variables we'll talk about, but anytime the same information is on a page, I'll use a variable within the template. The other thing you have are placeholders, and this is the grayish text you'll see when you make a page from a template. It's just a prompt for the creator to add something. And once they hit publish, it disappears. So a great way to remind your editors, like, what should you put in here, or what kind of information is needed. And the last thing I've mentioned is promotion. This will just have it show up in the featured and promoted categories. And this is something that we as admins can do to help focus our team. It makes it much easier to show them, hey, use these templates or these ones are useful, because then they don't have to search around and fumble for it as much. I added one more template. One more page. I apologize. And the last concept as an admin is to disable templates or turn them off. I'm of two minds with this. There's 150 templates that show up with Confluence, and to go through every space and manually do that is a huge waste of time. That said, this can be done on a global level. So you might want to go to your org admin and say, hey, there's a couple of templates we know we're never going to use. Can we flip them off? Or if you have a space that your team uses and you want to help them focus, take 10 minutes and just click these rockers on all the templates you don't want them to worry about. There's no way to do this in bulk right now, which is really annoying. Actually, maybe I'll make note of that. Bulk template disable. I do this sometimes if it's a high traffic space just to focus my creators, but typically I don't bother. Kind of an ask for help here. This QR code will take you to a Google form, and this is just asking for your feedback on how these sessions are going. What works well? What could I do better? What other things do you want to see me talk about or do? So any feedback you have would be really appreciated. Again, I've started using the QA, the questions, the polls in here, and I'll drop this link in our chat. But I will do my best to guess and come up with things that you all will find useful. But if you have ideas on things you want to learn or dig in deeper to, please let me know so I can do those things so you can get what you need. This is my reminder that we're teleporting into Confluence Cloud Premium. So we're going to take a look at templates live. Again, everything I show you should be available in every version of Cloud. I'm not going to touch on anything that's just like Premium or Enterprise. And everything we talk about should also be available through Data Center. It might look a little bit different depending on your version. So we are just in a space right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is click on my More menu and go to my templates. Where'd it go? Templates. Now this is part of the new UI. You can customize this. So if it's above the line, it shows up. If it's below the line, it's hidden. I keep it hidden because I almost never use this. So I'll just open up templates. And here we can see all of my templates. So this is one way to browse. And then I can just click on them to see what they look like. Right from here, you can add a page using this template by clicking Use Template or Add. I personally don't use this just because I'm so used to creating the page. But this is one way to do it. And there's also these filters at the top. You can search by keyword, so maybe the word project. Or you can use these filters on the right. So again, featured are those ones that an admin has promoted. I've got the templates that I have clicked the star on, so you can kind of bookmark your own. But you can also see all these other categories, marketing or strategy, etc. So I encourage folks to browse through these just to see what exists. Because there's a lot of great stuff in here. There's 144 templates that come preloaded. These are the blueprints. Tushar, can I show where templates are in the old view? I cannot change my UI, unfortunately. In this demo box, we're stuck with the new one. It used to live up at the top. If I go back to like my homepage, when the UI was up at the top up here, it was one of the top menu options. At least I'm pretty sure. It's not been that long, and I'm already forgetting where they live. But they did used to live up at the top. So if you're on Data Center, just kind of rotate that bar 90 degrees up to the top of the screen. Now, when I go and make a page, I'm in a space, and I'm just going to create a page. At the bottom, I'm going to get the quick link dialog. Chad, help me out. What was it called? I made up an acronym, and now I forgot what it stands for. Quick link bar, the QLB. There we go. At the bottom, I have a few templates. I'm pretty sure these are the templates that have been more recently accessed by me. I'll have to figure out how it figures that out. But you can see as I mouse over them, it just fills a template in. And then I can click on it, and it will insert it. Now, this template has some of those variables I spoke about. We can see project name is in this funny looking box. If I have project JQuil, which is JQL, Jira Query Language, I can see it showing up under topic as well. So these variables can be very, very helpful. They work when we have, again, repeatable information. So anywhere in my template, if I have to type in the project name, instead I'll insert that variable when I edit it. Now I also can see in this some placeholder text, indicate who is in the meeting. So maybe if I just hit create, that inserts the template, and I can see I've got this placeholder. I'm not going to touch the placeholder. I'll just fill in the excerpt, a test topic. When I publish this, that placeholder text is going to disappear. Oh, it gave me an AI-generated title. This little generated title is in premium or higher. It's Atlassian Intelligence. I'll call this meeting notes template. Wait, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. When I publish this page, that placeholder text just vanishes. Again, that is useful for the creator to know what to put in there. And what I should see, and what I don't see for some reason, up under owner is that ... created from template. So you hopefully will see that as well. Now from here, if I go and edit this, let's say I made a mistake, I used the wrong template, I can click up on more actions. Oh, did they get rid of it? Oh no, you used to be able to overwrite an entire page with a template. It looks like they got rid of that. Is it under details? It is not under details. One thing that I love about cloud systems is they can just be updated. One thing I hate about cloud systems is they can just be updated and you don't necessarily know. So it looks like once you use a template and publish, you're kind of stuck with that template. I'm going to make one more page and see if I can show you what I'm talking about though. So I have a meeting notes template. I'll do some stuff to it. Very good meeting notes. There we go. So it looks like if you're in draft, so if you haven't published the page yet, you can open up your template sidebar. And this is what I tend to use when I make a page, when I look for templates. Again, this is just my habit, how I first learned it. But here's where I can look between spaces. So if I know that the Robert Heen space has a really cool template, I can just click on Robert Heen, and then I can search through that space's templates to use them. I can also search by author, category, or topic, so I have some different ways of digging through these. Please encourage your teams, when they use templates, to star the ones they find useful. This will just make it easier for them to find it. It won't star it for other people, so I can't do this for my team. I have to do it, I have to encourage them all to do it. And I guess a quick question. A quick little flash poll. Do you star templates when you're using them? And from here, again, if I haven't published this, I can replace the content or I can start a new page with it. So if I made a mistake, I can copy off the draft and finish it later. So that's using templates, and that's what most people will be using or interacting with them. And that's where to find them and how to add them. Next up is as a space admin, how do I manage them? So up under space settings, and again, this is the look and feel section. I have templates. And again, a bit of a misnomer because this includes the blueprint templates, but also my custom created templates. These are all of those out of the box templates. You can see this massive list. And this is where you can go in and start disabling specific blueprint templates that you'd find annoying, not useful, etc. Again, I only really do that on highly trafficked spaces or spaces with like a ton of people to keep them focused because it takes some time to click on all 144 boxes. More commonly, I'll come in here and I'll find the template I need to change and I'll go edit it or the blueprint. So if I find a blueprint that's mostly useful, I'll go in there and edit. Sasha, yes. Again, 144 templates come with Confluence Cloud just out of the box. You can get more if you have marketplace apps. So that's also possible. You might see more than 144. But you can open up these blueprints and make any changes you need to. So this is the HR knowledge base management template. And I can see it's got a table of contents macro, some leave and time off stuff. Maybe my team, though, really has decided they need to add something up at the top, like policy level, high level info. And under that, they need a table, and that table needs to include, item info. I'm just kind of making up an example to demonstrate that we can go into these blueprints and do whatever we need to. We've got owner, we've got last update. What else would be good? Type. So here I've modified this blueprint, made it more useful, and there's a few more things I'll do. I'll add a / and I'll just type in placeholder. And this is that special macro that only shows up when I'm editing a template. This is what adds that grayish text Ooh, helps if I spell right. Responsible for this policy. And that will insert it into the template and remind whoever is using the template what to put in here. So who's using it? I'll do another one. Was the policy last updated? So now I'll save this, and this version of this blueprint has been changed. So if I go to create, what is that? My knowledge base, HR knowledge base management. Using this template, I should see those updates. So I'll just search for HR. Well, you know, to search for HR knowledge. Oh, who can tell me why it's not showing up? The answer is on this screen. I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee, and please let me know if you can figure out why I cannot find the HR knowledge base management blueprint template. Any guesses? I have found there is a bit of a delay sometimes between my audio and the chat, so I'll give you another moment. The answer stirring you, I hit it. Yes. When I was demonstrating how to disable a blueprint, I happened to turn off the blueprint. Now, Tushar has a good point here. This checkbox is not the promote button. This checkbox is to turn it on or off. This is a really bad UI choice because this is promoted. Now it is unpromoted. This checkbox turns the blueprint off entirely. So if this is turned off and I go to create, this template won't exist. And you saw me trip over this and make this mistake. So you can imagine this is going to happen to other folks. If I look for HR, it doesn't show up. Yep, Sachin got it. Now if I promote it, it will show up under my promoted section. So let me go back to my space. All templates. This should work. What was it called? Knowledge? Uh-oh. Am I going crazy? Text space. It's turned on. That is turned on. Create page. Well, folks, I can't explain why it's not showing up anymore. I knew I shot myself in the foot when I turned it off entirely. It should be showing up right in here. Oh, there it is. Is that the right one? That's the right one. Okay. I don't know why that took so long. It should be instantaneous. But now we get our template, and we can see that bit that we've updated. I can see policy high-level info, all the stuff I added, and that placeholder text. So this is something I could take to my HR team. Chad, I was hoping you would ask me to reboot the computer, because that's, you know, turn it off, turn it on, that usually fixes it. I would bring this to my team and say, hey, what else would be useful? And they might tell me, hey, Rob, it's annoying to type in the type all the time. So I can then go back into this template. And there's one other thing I have, which are those variables. So there's another special macro we have, which are variables. These don't show up in non-templates, like just in regular pages. If I don't do anything to it, it's just called variable name, which is kind of useful. But if I go to edit this, I have three options. I have text, multi-text, and list. So I might call this variable like policy type. And I have, you know, benefits, travel, IT policies. And now if someone uses it, they'll get a nice little drop down there. I might also insert this in a few other places. Can't find a very easily good spot. Maybe I'll put it under way at the bottom just so we can find it easily. But now this macro will allow someone on creation to go in and modify it. Yes, too short. When in doubt, just maybe I'll call up Atlassian and have them restart my server. Um, Now, if I go in and use this template, I've made it a little bit better for my team because it's got that variable. And you'll see this one doesn't have it, and that's because this is already a draft. So I'm going to see if I can just get this to refresh the template right from here. Existing content is removed. That's fine. Oh, fascinating. That didn't pull in either. Is it just slow today? I'm just going to make a whole brand new page and go to templates. I also love when things don't work when I'm trying to demonstrate something. It should be right there. Huh. Well, folks, I'll take one more look at this template and then talk about global templates. But this is going to bug me. Edit my template. A few things are possible. We could all collectively be going crazy. This particular thing doesn't work, or it's a bug unique to me. But that should give us a drop down. I'll try it one more time to see if it's caught up before I talk about global templates. This should give us a drop down that on create I can fill in, and then it fills it in everywhere that that variable exists. And it's blank. Okay, moving on. Going back to my templates menu, one reason I didn't know global templates existed, I haven't been an organization admin, but if I scroll all the way to the bottom of this, there is a section called global templates, and my big fat head is in the way, so let me get out of the way. If I click on this, and again, I have to be an org admin, this takes me into the admin panel, and this is under global templates and blueprints under configuration. But these are the settings across the entire instance. So I have the ability, oh, I wonder if I bugged it out. I have the ability to turn blueprints on and off for the entire instance. So this is something you could do. I wouldn't want to do this in a very big org because I don't know who will find these useful or who will not find these useful. But if I have a smaller team, or if I know for sure we never care about product requirements, I might just flip it off and get rid of it. And this will hide it for everyone. We can't delete the blueprints, but we can hide them. The more important thing I can do is add a global template. So I can add a template, I can build one from scratch that I can share with my entire organization. And this is really powerful and really great because it helps ensure everyone in my company, everyone in my org has access to this template. So if there's something my entire company will find useful, I will go in and add it as a global template. So anytime someone hits create, they will have access to that thing. So I have a global template named global template that will show up in every single space, regardless of everything else. So these can be useful and these can be annoying. They can be super useful because they show up everywhere. They can be annoying because if you're a space admin and you go into space settings and you go into templates, you may not see them listed. Like if I command find global, it might be hiding way at the bottom. So it's not immediately obvious there's a global template because there's no way to like hide or collapse the blueprints. You have to command find and look for it. All right, I'm going to drop another QA. I forgot to put one in. So I've just dropped a QA in the chat. I should have put this up earlier, and I'm getting better at this. But you can click on that QA and drop in specific questions. You can also drop them in the general chat. I'm going back and forth on which is best. The Q&A feature collects them all in one spot so I can see them. The general chat makes sure other people can help you answer them. So I'm still playing with this feature. Can we copy space templates as a global template? Yes, but to do that, like there's no button right here that I'm aware of, Tushar, that lets me say, make this template a global template. I would have to go in and click edit, Command A, Command C, go down to my global templates, and then make a new global template. So there's no button that says convert this to a global template or convert this to a space template. It would have to be a copy and paste. So that's one annoyance with templates. Another annoyance of templates, which I briefly mentioned, there's no way to bulk disable these. You have to do it one by one. And there's no way to like minimize this list of blueprints. And so that means global templates are always going to be hidden way at the bottom. And you can see there's even some system templates that exist. But there's going to be, like, there's a lot of great things about templates, but once you start digging into the more admin side, like trying to manage them all, you start to find these odd little edges where it's just annoying that you can't, for example, copy a template from a space into the whole thing. Sachin, can we create a Confluence page for a story using automation? Sachin, I might save that one and just stay focused on templates for now, if that's all right. But I'll have some kind of follow-up for you, certainly over in our Discord, where I can walk you through that, if not like a full video. There are some other things we can do with templates that I'll speak about for the next few minutes. There is a way to add a button to a page and then just generate a brand new page based on a template. So this is more, once I have my templates, how can I use them? Under /, if I just type in template, or, oh, did I lose my, I think I now have, not what I meant to write. There we go. Okay, here's another question for the group. Have y'all used the new floating toolbar? You'll notice that my toolbar is gone. If you select text, though, you can pin it back. This is a new feature. Personally, it drives me nuts. The first time I tried it was in a live session, and I didn't know how to get it back. So if your toolbar disappears, like you're used to it being at the top, there's this little unpin. Just select some text, it'll show up again. So I'm going to leave it pinned. So I can click on Add Insert Element and just type in template, or that /. I'll give it some name, new meeting notes, and then I'll pick the template that I want it to use. So what this will do is set up a button that every time someone pushes it, it's going to make a new page using this template. I have some variables I can put into the name, like current date. I only really have 3, the space key, the date, and the name. But if I save this, and I use this trick quite a bit for like a top-level page for commonly used things. Meeting notes is an example. Policies is an example. Retrospectives, sprint reviews, anything where I'm constantly making a page. I could go click Create, click Template, find the template, insert it. Or I could just make a button that when I push it, it makes a brand new page with that template. And it inserts that brand new page as a child of wherever that button was. So this is a very quick and easy way to support your team. Give them a page with a magic button that just creates the thing for you. Makes it very easy to help support folks. And it kind of removes a lot of the risk, but also a lot of the thought process. You can just go do it, which is great. All right, have you used the floating toolbar? About half and half. I'm curious if you have used it, what you think of it. I don't like it so far, but my habit is not to use it. I do see it useful because it cleans up some clutter. Still about half and half. Okay, fair. All right, folks, I have a few more slides. We're going to teleport back into my slides real quick. A quick self-promotion. I have a Confluence course. This is 4 hours on how to use Confluence. It's over on Udemy, where I have a number of other courses, but this is another way to help support what I do as I transition into another stage of my working life, I'll say. I made this course starting with the question, what would I have liked to have known when I started using Confluence? It covers how to be a user, how to create content. It covers how to be a space admin. It covers automations. It covers Atlassian Intelligence. It's focused on cloud, but my goal is to find a way to support everyone so they can use it successfully. So this is a coupon code that'll get you some dollars off. Please feel free to share that with your team, and please reach out to me directly if finances are a hassle and I can hook you up. Happy and not happy with the toolbar change? Yes. I tend to just leave it. It's annoying. Uh-huh. So you might be asking yourself, what's next? We have not covered, well, we've covered a lot about templates, but there's a ton more to learn. The best advice I have is go get hands-on. That really should be number one in this list. Getting hands-on with templates will help you understand them the best. It will give you the best idea of how they work. It'll help you discover new ways you can use them for your team. So please, 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 please go into your Confluence instance and just start using them. This will help you just get a feel for them and also help you understand how they work and also talk to your team. So like let them know templates exist and ask them how could they be better. Atlassian Community is also a great place to go, community.atlassian.com. Lots of great folks there. I hang out there. They can be overwhelming, so I tend to use the search to find things, but a great place to go. Please also check out my content. I do weekly video uploads. I'll probably increase that soon. I'll have more time. Woohoo! But I also do a lot of live streams. So please give me feedback on what you would like to do. I've got a quick poll question. Just what you thought of today's session. I'm just curious. And if you feel comfortable sharing in the comments what you think of the session, I'd also appreciate you dropping any specific comments in there just so I can see more about how I can improve or what you liked about it. Please shoot me an email, robert@heen.tech. Also happy to respond. And then this QR code goes to our Discord server. This is live chat. The goal with that server is to give everyone a place to go in between sessions or whenever they need help. There's been some interesting discussion about using APIs, about using LMS learning management systems, but also discussion specific to templates and other Confluence topics. So please feel free to join us in there if you're looking for another spot. I've got a couple minutes left. I'm going to keep the chat open, and I'm going to check on that questions to see what I might have missed in the next few minutes. But if you are looking for ways to support me, that Udemy course is a great way. And of course, you can become a channel member. And thank you. I think it was Sarah for becoming one today. There are also, I think they call them supers, which are one-off thank yous you can purchase. And you will see more content from me. I'm very excited to be changing my career to become more of a freelancer. So I'm terrified and excited, but be on the lookout for more things coming from me. I'm working with Brittany Joyner on a surprise course over on Udemy. You can probably guess what it's about, but be on the lookout for that soon, as well as some ideas on other learning that I have. Again, my goal is to make sure no one is as frustrated as I was learning this stuff. So hopefully I'm succeeding at least in part with that. Kath, you are very welcome. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. For folks in the United States, happy 4th of July, which is tomorrow. Please stay safe with all the fireworks and things, but please enjoy the holiday. Chad, you are welcome, my friend. You are the #1 fan for this chat. I don't know what that means. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets in every stream. Oh, you can collect experience points. Wow, okay. By sending chat messages, sending super chats, and super stickers. Sure. All right. Sachin, you're welcome. I tend to live stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday every week. I'll see if that needs to change. Mondays and Fridays are geared towards certification preparation, so definitely check that out. And then I've got the Tuesday, Thursdays for kind of wildcard things like templates. Kincaid, you're very welcome. Christopher, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, April. You have a great day. Angie, I first noticed this yesterday when I was in a live session with someone, and I was the #2 fan for a little while, and then I got bumped down. So I didn't know how to get my points back. But it looks like most people have 50 or 75 points. So the #1 fan today is Chad, the #2 fan is Sarah, and the #3 fan is Tushar. So congratulations on all your ratings, I guess. All right, folks. Again, a huge thank you for joining me. We just spent an hour talking about templates, which I never thought I would do. I really appreciate you joining me, though. And I'm going to close down the session soon, but please drop any last minute questions you have in there. I'll be following up in Discord. And yes, your fan rating will change over time, Sarah, based on how you interact. So chatting more gets you more points. Buying a super gets you more points, I guess. I don't know. But I'll follow up with these questions I didn't get to over in Discord, and I've got 2 or 3. It looks like. Quickly just copy those so I don't lose them. All right. Thank you all again. I really appreciate you joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next session soon. So have a great day wherever you are, and I hope to see you again soon. Hope to see you. Wow. All right. Cheers all. Have a great holiday, and see you Monday.